من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العظيم. These are verses 81, 82 and 83 of Surah Yaseen. The discussion continues from the discussion we had yesterday that As bin Wa'il and others had come to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam with decayed bones, and they questioned to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This question wasn't for the increase of their knowledge or the increase of any conviction in Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, but this was all the denial of Qiyamah, the denial of the resurrection of the day of Qiyamah, and together with that they made a mockery of all of that. So in these verses, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala actually gives three proofs how Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will recreate, and these three proofs are also evident of the greatness of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. The first is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala in the verses we discussed yesterday. Allah Ta'ala said, Anna khalaqanahu min nutfatin. Awalam yaral insan, does man not see that we created him from a nutfa, from a cloth of blood or a drop of semen, and from there we created him. That is the first evidence that from one form Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala creates the human being. Over here ulama have also written a very, very important thing, that more often than not we forget how we were created. We forget that weakness, we forget that we were created from the semen, and that shows that we have absolutely no reason to have any pride, any arrogance on the surface of the earth. The second is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about that Allah, alladhi ja'ala lakum min ash-shajari al-akhdari nara, that from this green tree that is filled with water, Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala creates fire. And here it is very clear that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His power is not in need of any conformity or of things, of ingredients, of atoms, or whatever. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala can bring opposites together, and Allah Ta'ala creates the effect of everything. And the third is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says, أَوَلَيْسَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِقَادِرٍ عَلَىٰ أَن يَخْلُقَ مِثْلَهُم. The discussion about all of this was the resurrection of the human. The resurrection of the human, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows how it cannot even compare to the other creations of Allah. Allah created the sky, Allah ta'ala created the earth. It would have been to you and I more intense, harder in labor to have created the sky and the earth. And then insan then is not a very difficult thing to have recreated. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us from our perspective, our logic, that when the big things are created by Allah Rabbul Izzat, the universe is created by Allah Ta'ala, then this little insan, isn't that not so easy for Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to create? And in this way, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala presents these proofs in front of us. Ulama like Hafidh ibn Kathir and others at the end of Surah Yaseen have brought a hadith of our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and this actually is very, very appropriate at this point in time, not only at the end of the surah, but also at the end of this month of Ramadan. That our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Sayyidina Huzaifa radiyallahu ta'ala anhu is the narrator, that our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam spoke about a person from the people of the past. This man was a disobedient person. He did not obey Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in the commandments that Allah had revealed in that particular Sharia. He was one that violated, and he was one that was not concerned about accountability on the day of Qiyamah. Now comes the time when Maut is very, very close to him. And now, at that point in his life, he realizes that he's going forward on another journey. And this is the very, very important thing for myself and all of us, that we're going forward, the same journey carries on, but now we will say it's the second segment, is the next leg of this journey, and that is the journey of Akhirat. The realization comes to him that how am I going to face Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala? I've got no face to put in front of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala because of all my disobedience to Allah Rabbul Izzat. So he calls his children and he bequeaths, he makes a wasiyat. Obviously this is not permissible in our Shariat, and probably and possibly it was not even permissible in that Shariat also, that what you people do is when I die, cremate my body. And after you've cremated my body, take half the ash and spread it out on the earth on a windy day. Let this ashes fly. So it'll just fly into thin air. And then take the other half and let it fly into the sea. So in this way, there was one thought that I'll be now nothing and absolutely no need to be concerned about any accountability. Now the person passes on, and Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala would question this person that why did you do that? All the other issues are issues, but the main issue here is why did you bequeath to be cremated and that your ash be just thrown, or rather let it fly into thin air, both in the earth and the land. But the important aspect is they brought this hadith here to show that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, for him, what Allah Ta'ala did, Allah commanded the earth to bring all those pieces of ash together, and the sea to bring all that ash together, and in a matter of a flick of an eye, a twinkle of an eye, or a flick of a finger, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala resurrected the person. And this is one important aspect. All of that is not difficult for Allah Rabbul Izzat, but nonetheless, going forward, why did you do this? So the person will reply to Allah, because of fear for you. Because I had this fear for you. Fear of standing here on this maqam, on this place at this time. Allah Ta'ala said, if it was because of the fear you had for me, then I have forgiven you. So friends, this is the very, very important aspect of it, is that whilst we will have all the hope that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala forgives us, we will have all the hope that Allah Ta'ala will deal with us with His mercy, His grace, and Allah Ta'ala will grant more than we even deserve. But at the same time, let us balance it out with the khawf and the fear of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Going forward, leaving this month of Ramadan, it is going to leave us, and we are also going to leave this month of Ramadan. Going forward, the very important lessons we learn is that إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا. That now we have said our Rabb is Allah, we recite the surah every day, we refreshen and rejuvenate our iman in Allah, the rububiyat, the lordship, the sustainership of Allah Rabbul Izzat. On a daily basis we renew it, and we remain firm on our pledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our Rabb. May Allah ta'ala give us the tawfiq. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم. جزى الله عنا نبينا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم بما هو أهله. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبسيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم رسولا ونبيا. لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إلا الله 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 إلا الله